because financially, obviously, you have to make a living. Everyone have to make a living. It's important, obviously. The WWE especially does a lot of community service, a lot of charity work, a lot of things are involved with the bully program, Be a Star, anti-bullying, and Make-A-Wish. There's tons of things, reading programs that they do that everyone gets involved in. And social media has been tremendous, and they're doing things with that as well. This, with FCW, it's more like territory days.
Yeah.
You're driving around the state, if that's your state, and then you're able to go home at nights, late night, and things like that. Would your father or uncle ever tell you about the territory days, or was that something that was even before them?
No, they were right there in the middle of the territory days. So they, and I think a big run that my dad used to do with my uncle, and I think even Hulk Hogan, did some of these loops with them as well. Is they'd go. That's how we ended up in Pensacola. Is they would work in Pensacola down the Panhandle and then go up into Alabama. So that was a territory they were running back in the day. But back then, everything was just so mysterious and mystique, and they just you didn't want to tell. Like a magician, you just don't tell your tricks. You keep all the strings covered, and you just didn't. You didn't really talk about it too often, and half the time when he was in town, he'd be tired, and it just, we'd spend as much quality family time together and not really worry about wrestling, per se. So.
Did Dad ever come and get to see you watch you play college ball?
Oh yeah, he was there. I mean, by that time he was retired. Yeah.
Okay.
So he and my mom and my sisters, they were there just about every home game or anytime we played close, like Auburn. They were there, so I was very blessed to have their support and have them there every time.
Did anybody recognize them? Recognize your dad and all?
Especially for him, because he was real popular in the late '70s. So, you'll have your wrestling fan here and there, but them being the bad guys per se, it wouldn't be if you had like the American Dream running around. People just especially in this area, love them. So.
Well, maybe they were like afraid. They sort of like
sometimes, yeah. I mean, and he's still a big man, so he still carries that demeanor of, man, look at that guy. He's a big guy, And if you shake his hand, he's really one of the only men I shake their hands, and his hands are bigger than mine. So but yeah, he's still very recognizable in the world of wrestling.
Last two questions. Got to ask you about your teammates and taking your roommate or anyone to a wrestling match, and what it was like for you to take someone, whether it be in high school or college, to a wrestling match and maybe get to meet some of the wrestlers, and just because it's different through their eyes than through your eyes, and were you sort of like laughing at them, or in a nice way? But
because it's just a different world, when you come in and you see all these guys running around and they're in little underwear, and we're used to being in either workout gear or full suited up football pads. But it was something they all enjoyed. I mean, I took my roommates a couple times. I sent a couple of our strength coaches at Tech to a show. So it's something that they really did respect it, the process, just being backstage, seeing the whole arena, seeing how much really goes into, putting on an event for the fans. So it was a good time for everybody, and they just really enjoyed it. So. Do
you remember if they really went nuts for anybody in particular at that time, or no?
I can't remember. I'm sure just probably the divas. To be honest. They probably went nuts for the divas. Trish Stratus probably ran out and they were loving her. Is probably what happened. But it was just, I mean, usually you go to a show and you're gonna find something that you enjoy. You may not be into this guy, but then you see this guy come out and he's just right up your alley. So that's a great thing about what we do is. The little kids might like him, the grown men might like him, the women might love her. So, you know what I mean?
You got something for everybody.
Exactly. It's a show for, all groups and sizes and ages. So it's a good deal.
Did you ever get to meet Mr. McMahon?
Yeah.
Did he ever, I don't know at what age, because I'm wondering if you were older.
I was young.
Oh, see, because I wonder if he was older and said, this might be someone someday to keep an eye on because of the size.
I wasn't able to meet him, when I was in college, but I was able to meet, a lot of the
others that work
his
for
guys,
Sure.
Jim Ross, guys that he works exclusively with. So I actually heard a rumor that they wanted to sign me right out of college to a developmental deal, but I was still in the process of figuring out if I, how pro ball was going to go and things like that. But yeah, it was, I met him when I was young, and I plan on doing a bunch of business with him throughout the future.
Last question, so much time. Thank you so much. the guys that are working here, what a tremendous, not only the talent, but also those training the talent and working with the talent. Dusty Rhodes, Steve Kern, Norman Smiley, Ricky Steamboat. I think Jerry Briscoe comes out every once in a while when he can.
We have Bill DeMott,
Thank you, Bill DeMott. Terry Taylor.
Joey Mercury.
Joey Mercury, I remember. Eminem.
Even before Tom Pritchard. So we've just had so much experience, so many guys who worked, you know, we talk about Steve Kern, he worked back in the day. Dusty, they did the territory days. And
Florida,
they
right.
just experienced so much and seen, you know, that's one thing you can't substitute is experience. You know, you can be the most talented, charismatic person in the world, but if you've just never been put in a situation, you really don't know how a guy's going to respond. So to be able to absorb all their knowledge is just, it's been a blessing. It really has.
Thank you for spending so much time with us.
No problem.
Appreciate that so much. All the best for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.